Good morning, dear students. Here is your grammar teacher. My name is Nirmala, and our first lesson is the sentence. In this chapter, we are going to study about kinds of sentences according to function, affirmative, negative, interrogative sentences, yes no questions, WH questions, tag questions, choice questions, imperative sentence, exclamatory sentences, simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence. That are the kinds of sentences according to structure. So, here we'll begin our lesson with the definition of sentence. A group of words that conveys complete sense is called a sentence. Sentence is the group of words that conveys, that gives complete sense is called a sentence. A sentence always begins with capital letter and ends with the full stop, an exclamation mark or a question mark. It also has a subject and a verb. So this is the definition of sentence, that it must have subject and a verb. It should start with a capital letter, ends with a full stop or an exclamation mark or a question mark, and the group conveys some sense. Group of words should have some sense. Just see these examples. We'll learn about the sentence better. Read these group of words. First is leaking the is roof. Leaking the is roof. If these words are arranged in order, is these words have any sense? No. These made of our stone houses. What? These made of our stone houses. What is the meaning of these words? There is no meaning. There is no sense. So these group of words do not make any sense. Now read these sentences which are given below. The roof is leaking. Here we had find the roof. T is capital letter. So our sentence begin with the capital letter. T is capital. And it ends with the full stop. And the words also has the sense. These words have sense. So the roof is leaking. These words have the sense, and this is the sentence as it begin with the capital letter. And here we have find that subject also. What is subject? The roof. The roof is the subject and is leaking is the predicate. A sentence must have subject and a verb. Here is leaking is the verb. Is the auxiliary verb and leaking is the main verb. Auxiliary verb is also known as helping verb. Similarly, in this sentence, these houses are made of stone. T is capital and it ends with full stop, as well as these houses, that is the subject, are made of stone is the predicate, are is the helping verb, that is auxiliary verb, made is the main verb. So these group of words make complete sense. Now let's see about phrase. What is phrase? A group of words that convey some sense but not complete sense is called a phrase. A phrase does not have a subject or a finite verb. So a phrase, just learn the definition, a group of words that convey some sense but not complete sense as a sentence. Okay, a phrase does not have a subject. Now only I taught you that what is subject, and it also, a phrase does not have a finite verb also. Here we will learn about subject and finite verb. Just see these examples. Read this group of words. A nice story. A nice story. A gang of thieves. Here, did you find any subject, children? No. So, this is what? Phrase, because this phrase does not have subject and finite verb. These group of words make sense, but it is not complete sense. Now, here little description about subject and predicate. Subject. What is subject? The part which names the person or thing we are speaking about is called the subject of the sentence. You just see the example given below. The boy is running. In this sentence, the part which names the person, which part of the sentence is naming the person? The boy. Okay. And we are speaking about whom? We are speaking about the boy. That is called the subject. Is running is the predicate. What is predicate? The part which tells something about the subject. What the boy is doing, that is telling this part is running. So that is the predicate. Is clear? Now see, the singing of the birds delights us. The singing of the birds delights us. Okay. So the singing of the birds. Birds, that is the subject, and delight us is the predicate. He has a good memory. He, we are talking about he. Okay. He is the subject. Has a good memory is the predicate. I shot an arrow in the air. I is the subject. Shot an arrow in the air is the predicate. So this is about the subject and predicate. As we have learned the definition of the phrase, that phrase is a word that conveys some sense but not complete sense, and a phrase does not have a subject. So in phrase, subjects are absent. As I have told you some example, a nice story, a gang of thieves. So in that, subjects are not there, and there is no finite verb. So what is finite verb? Let's see. Finite verb. That verb has some agreement with the subject. Okay. That agreement is as per tense, as per person, as per number. What is that as per tense, as per number, as per person? Just see. Example, verb changes as per tense. How that verb changes as per tense? Here we are talking about present tense. Like, I play cricket every day. I play cricket every day. Now, because it is present tense, so here our verb is, sorry children, our verb is play. Our verb is what? Play. Okay. Now look here. I played cricket every day. I played cricket every day. It is past tense. So here verb is changed to play, from play to played. So this is agreement of subject, as verb changes as per tense. As the tense is changing, the verb is also changing. Now look another example. Verb changes as per number. Verb changes as per number. Like here, the number of apples. This is one apple, and here is many apples. So apple is of red color. That is because one, we are talking about one apple, so we have written is. And apples are of red color. Here we are talking about many apples, that is plural. So apples are. So verb changes as per the number. So that is also finite verb. Now look one more example. Verb changes as per person. Person means first person, like I, we. Second person, you. Third person, he, she, they. Okay. So here I run a mile daily. I run. Verb, here verb is what? Run. You have to first see the verb. Here verb is runs. When here I is there, so verb is run. Okay. But when he is there, that verb changes to runs. So that is also the finite verb, and verb changes as per person. So what is finite verb? I think now you understood better, and subject is also clear to you. Okay. So we have studied, I repeat again, what is phrase? A group of words that convey some sense but not complete sense is called phrase. A phrase does not have a subject. So the group of words which does not have a subject and a finite verb, that is the phrase. That's how you can recognize the phrase. Okay. Now look here. This is the clause. A group of words that convey some sense but not complete sense. Here also some sense are there, but it is also not complete sense. But the difference is that and also has a subject. Phrase has a subject and a finite verb. Sorry, clause has a subject and a finite verb, whereas phrase does not has a subject and a finite verb. That is the difference. Now read these sentences. They are made up of two clauses. Mr. Jones asked him a question, but he did not know the answer. So Mr. Jones asked. What is the verb here? Asked. Subject is what? Mr. Jones. Okay. So group of words that convey some sense but not complete sense and also has subject. Here subject is Mr. Jones and asked is the verb. Okay. So that is the has the verb is called clause. Him a question but he did not know the answer. So this is the clause. Mr. John asked him a question. Okay. So these sentences are clause. Call me after you come back from school. Since we were hungry, we stopped at a dhaba on the way. Although he was unwell, he went to school. So in this sentence, the highlighted words which are in red color can stand alone because they convey complete meaning. These words have the complete meaning. A group of words that convey some sense. These have the sense. But he did not know the answer. After you come back from school, or since we were hungry, although he was unwell. So these words, it doesn't have any sense. Okay, these words do not have any sense. So the underlying clause cannot stand alone because they do not convey complete meaning. They depend on highlighted clause to make complete sense. So clause which convey complete meaning can stand alone are called main or independent clause. Like Mr. Jones asked him a question. That is the main. That is said to be main or independent clause. Okay. And the clause convey complete sense are called subordinate or dependent clauses. Clauses which depend on independent clauses. Clauses which depend on these clauses. But he did not know the answer. They depend on these clauses. Okay, Mr. Jones asked him a question. These clauses are main clause and they depend on these clause. So they are said to be subordinate or dependent clauses. Subordinate and dependent clauses. Okay, I hope that video is clear, children. Some exercise are given on the book, that is on page number 3. So and page number this one also. Try to complete it. Answers will be given you soon. Thank you, children.